Today we are going to talk about our inner child and how we can start this healing process towards him or her. Healing our inner child is a deep process. It's a core part of our healing and it requires a lot of work. First, we need to identify our inner child, then we need to start to communicate with it. After that, we create a safe space to start this healing process, and finally, we create a ritual of healing our inner child. There are a lot of steps, and that is why, because we are talking about a child, right? So, how is a child? A child is really beautiful and innocent and naive, but can also push you away or ignore you or be rebel. So that's why we need to do some steps in achieving this communication and this healing with our inner child. What happened is that at an early age, something or someone hurt us in a way or another, intentionally or unintentionally. And because we experienced some emotion that we didn't have space to process, that we didn't have the cognitive functions to process, we felt those emotions, we felt that event as overwhelming, we felt as being too much. So what happened is that in that moment we created a part of ourselves that will protect us. That is our inner child. What usually happens is, because this situation is too intense and overwhelming, and because it's more than we can handle at that moment, we repress that memory, that emotion, and we may not even remember what we have been through. So part of our adult work is to uncover those wounds and to see how they influence our current behaviors, our actions, our relationships with ourselves. That is why it's so necessary to understand and to integrate those wounds, because it influences everything in our current reality. So let's start a short exercise together. That will be the first step in this process of healing our inner child. It will be our first step in the 21 days challenge that will start on the 1st of July, next Thursday. So I will invite you now to find the photograph. You can pause this video and go search for your childhood photographs with yourself from the age around 6-9 years old, when the inner child was formed. And even if you have earlier photos, for me, when I worked with my inner child, for example, the first event that was stored into my subconscious was at 1 year old. So the photo that I resonated with the most was me as almost a baby at 1 year old. That's why I encourage you to look through all your childhood photographs. This is the first step. Then bring them in front of you on a table, place them one close to the other, and take a deep breath in. And you can also close your eyes and tune into your body. First, ask yourself, is one photo that particularly imprinted your memory? Is one special photo that took your attention, that gave you a feeling in your body? Look into your body, scan your body, and see if you can see a reaction towards a certain photo. What I want you to know is you will know for sure which one you resonate the most. Your body will send you a message, and usually we have one that is really powerful, that is sending us a message. I will tell you for sure that you'll know when you get that photograph, and choose that one without thinking too much, just based on your intuition. That is your inner child, and set that intention to take that photo in your hand and set the intention to heal that part of yourself, to start this journey towards that little you, that little girl, that little boy. And this is the first step. This is the first step, called reconnecting with our inner child. The second step is communicating with our inner child. Next is healing our inner child, forgiving our inner child, releasing the emotions towards our inner child, and finally we will integrate this experience by writing a letter to rewriting our childhood, so we can integrate those wounds and those experiences. Why is it so important to choose a photograph? Is because we take that memory from our subconscious into our conscious mind, and you will see that you may encounter a lot of resistances. Your ego doesn't want to go there, doesn't want to heal, so you may want to run away, to use coping mechanism to do this process. But having that photo will maintain that connection with yourself, will be like that symbol that will remind you to come back to yourself. And I promise you that this journey will worth it, because this is a core part of our healing. We cannot be our parents, we cannot reparent ourselves, we cannot be emotionally mature until we heal that inner child. That inner child is a beautiful child, and as I told you, expect to be a little rebel and stubborn, and it can push you away like any other children. But if you keep on having that image, it helps you to speak with that child. Another disclaimer is connecting with your inner child can bring back a lot of memories. Some of them can be happy memories, others can be more sad memories. But I want you to have this patience of holding your inner child throughout this process. You will open a space of attention, of indulgence and love towards yourself as much as you can, with little steps, with baby steps, as if you were a child. And if you are the child, you also are the parent. You also are your own mother, your own father, your own aunt, your own grandmother. You can be your whole family for you. And you can be extremely loving and welcoming and like attentive, keeping your child under a kind and very permissive and loving observation. You can be attentive and curious, have that curiosity of a 7-year-old child, that is really, why is that? But why is that? And always asking questions. And especially without that judging and without restricting the process in any way, but with great curiosity to what happens next. Especially notice if you judge yourself and you want to discipline yourself or to follow some strict steps. I want you to remind you in that moment of this extreme love and indulgence, like you would be your best mother and your best father, your best uncle, your best brother that you have in front of you during this process. So the attitude that I invite you to have is that of a curious child who is having a light-hearted conversation, maybe is also making some jokes. It doesn't take the process too serious, because we are adults now and we want to start that connection with our inner child by having a serious discussion and having like a one-to-one mature conversation about healing. but it's not the way it works, how it works with our inner child. The idea is to be lighthearted, maybe funny, maybe making jokes, maybe, role playing, whatever feels good for you. So these are some steps that I am guiding you through, but the experience with your inner child is really unique and special. Only you know how your inner child wants to be treated. Only you know what relationship to create so you can open more that space of healing. Each inner child is unique. In each process of healing our inner child is unique. So I want you to have this open attitude. And what I want to also take into consideration is that possibly your inner child was hurt or mistreated at some point, and it could be worried, or it could have a fear of being judged or of being punished, depending on each one childhood. So I want you to just be like you'd be with a little child that needs your care and your attention. And remind your inner child throughout all this process, all these steps. This is the first step, the first part of the first step. The second part will be about moving our body, and this will be on the first day of the challenge. If you choose to join me, send me a message, comment on this video, and I would be more than happy to add you to the WhatsApp group. And I wish you, if you try this exercise, I'm really curious how it felt for you. Send me a message. I am here to guide you, to be of your support. Healing my inner child was one of the most deep and intense steps in my journey, but also the most fulfilling, because I had a lot of parts in my childhood that I lost on the way, and healing my inner child helped me to gather all that part and integrate it in my heart and feel whole again. And I hope to create the same feeling for you. So I wish you success with this exercise. Share with me how you felt, and I send you a lot of kisses and healing.